You know, we had a couple of plays the other night in the scrimmage. We probably got like 128 or 30, somewhere around in there. I thought for the first time the offense working together, I thought especially with the ones, thought they had really good tempo, managed the game really well, didn't turn the ball over, ran the ball pretty efficiently. Was pretty good on third down offensively. You know, when you look at it on the other side, defensively, with the ones, we didn't get enough turnovers and probably didn't affect the quarterback enough. Got to generate some more pass rush, got to play a little better up front, keep them cut off in the back end on third down. You know, I thought with the twos, you know, there's not as much experience at the quarterback position. I thought the two young quarterbacks got lots of reps. Both of them improved as the scrimmage went. You know, got to take care of the football. You know, today was not near what I was hoping. Defense was much better today. Offense started slow and got to respond better. Probably one of the first days all spring that I didn't see us improve offensively, and we got to fix that. So, you know, got to go back and focus on the details, execution. You know, it's hard to finish if you don't start the right way. So you got to start the right way, and then you got to finish the right way, and we've got to improve on that. In the kicking game, we've got to do a better job with our punters. We have experience there. Didn't feel like we, you know, punted the football very good, especially the other night in the wind. And got to do a much better job there. I think our coverage units have done a nice job this spring. You know, we're developing some guys in a return game. We just got to continue to do that. So, you know, we practiced 10 days. It's been very positive all spring. Got to get better come Thursday and take the lessons that we learned from the film and improve on them.
Wes and Steve.
Jeremy, you said that you would like to have seen more pass rush from the ones. How do you gauge that versus maybe the first team offensive line doing a pretty good job?
Well, it's when you give up sacks and you run the draw. You know, if you're giving up sacks in the draw play, it ought to be a good play for you, right? But if you only gain a couple of yards on the draw, it tells me one or two things. Either you're not getting any pass rush, or you got one guy that's creating all the pass rush. So we've got to improve in the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, be more consistent. There's lots of guys that have been positive this spring, especially on the offensive front. I think K'Ron Calvert has had a good spring so far. It's probably the first time he's been healthy since he's been here. You know, we've bumped a bunch of guys around in there. You know, Nathan Niehaus has played through a little bit of an injury this spring and continues to improve. And I think Wanye done a nice job at left tackle. You know, Jameer Johnson's bounced around from guard to left tackle. So we've got good competition at a few positions there. And, you know, Jerome Carvin moving the center has done a really nice job making the calls. You know, he's played that position before, but Jerome's played all 5 positions since he's been here. So it'd be nice to get him at a spot and let him learn, develop, grow, and improve as a player.
Just wondering, during the spring evaluation, when you're looking at, nobody specifically, but when you're looking at your pass rushers in general, what do you need to see from them to know where they'll be able to succeed at the SEC level on Saturdays? What are the main ingredients you're looking for in the spring?
Well, I think you got to have an understanding of situation. You got to be a good defensive player. You got to know the situations that present itself. You know, is it 1st and 10? You know, 2nd and 7 plus. What's the time in the game? What's the score on the scoreboard? You know, and there's lots of things you can look from, whether it's backfield formation or offensive lineman stances or splits of tight ends, wide receivers. Lots of, you know, tail signs that can help you. You know, you got to have good get off. You got to have an understanding of, you know, what kind of counter you're going to go with. So you got to be able to mix it up, and I think some of that comes with experience. But the first thing is you got to be able to get off the ball.
David, then
Who stood out to you on Saturday when you think about just your first impressions of the scrimmage?
Well, I don't know. There's a whole lot going on. I named a few guys that I thought had, played kind of the right way. So it's when you got 125 guys out there, there's going to be good and bad, and we had plenty of that. So we got to be more consistent on both sides of the ball.
Looked like D'Angelo Gibbs was working with the safeties today. Obviously, he played there at Georgia. Was that just sort of an experiment? Was that because he wasn't doing something well at wide receiver? Kind of what maybe what's the plan with him moving forward?
No, D'Angelo, that was kind of the plan when he came here, was to let him practice 9 days at one side of the ball at wide receiver, and he's done a really good job. I remember recruiting him in high school. He's a guy that everybody recruited as an athlete that could play either side of the ball. He's done a really nice job. The offensive coaches were very reluctant to him practicing on defense, but I think for us it gives us an idea just moving forward if he practices a couple of days there, just so we get an idea saying, okay, we think this is your best position potential-wise. So he's doing that. I mean, he kind of slid in there. Our defense is probably verbiage-wise is similar to Georgia's, so it was a pretty easy transition for him.
Coach, what did you think of your playmakers on Saturday night? Do you feel like you're growing that group, developing more playmakers? And then I know from a defensive standpoint, the lack of turnovers is something you've talked about all spring. What does this defense need to do the back half of spring here to generate more turnovers?
Well, the Twos got 3 turnovers the other night. One thing offensively, I thought we operated pretty well, but we didn't create as many explosive plays as we would like to. But by moving the football, that means that we played a little more consistent and, had a few more clean plays offensively than we had in practice. So that was positive. Defensively, you got to have ball hawks in the back end. So when you get an opportunity, they make a mistake. You got to make them pay. Also, there's something to knowing when to attack the ball when the runner has the ball. There's certain times that that it presents itself opportunities to attack the ball. I thought we missed probably 4 times the other night, and it's just how you approach the guy with the ball. Maybe it's a screen and you're coming from behind, or a guy bounces out, or the receiver's running across the field. He doesn't see you coming. So, we've got to have more awareness, and we got to attack the ball a little more defensively.
Jeremy, looking at the spring game, with that being a nighttime kickoff, have you been involved in a nighttime spring game before? I guess just in general, what are your thoughts of that being a nighttime event this year?
No, probably the last nighttime spring game I was involved in was back when I was coaching at Plainview High School. So, but spring's a lot of fun, and I know our players are excited about it. We have lots of competition. We have far more competition this year than we had last spring. So we got guys pushing each other every day. It's been a competition every day. So, we've had winners and losers. So who wins, the other team watches them run after practice. So I think our guys have competed hard this spring. I think other night I thought the scrimmage was really competitive. I thought it was a lot more physical than it was in the past. And I anticipate us improving this week. The next time we go to the stadium, I hope to see us play faster and more physical. And then we've got 11 days, 12 days to the orange and white game, and when you put as many fans in our stadium as will be there, I think that kind of will amp the guys up, and I think it's a great opportunity. There's the best recruiters you have are your players to start with, because they know what goes on day in and day out, and we got really good recruiters on our team. The next thing is just the passion of the fan base, everybody associated with the university. So, with the recruiting period and moving, The signing days up and all that deal, the timetable has moved up in recruiting. So, the more people we have in Neyland, the better selling point it is for our football program, the University of Tennessee. And it's not just football. It's all sports. So everybody takes advantage of the spring game to recruit. That there's going to be lots of things going on that weekend, and I know our players are excited about it. I'm excited about it, and looking forward to it. So we need our stadium full.
You obviously mentioned about the pass rush, but getting to watch the film on Saturday's scrimmage, what was kind of your overall evaluation of that kind of ongoing competition with those the front four, the Emmett Goodens and Menzies and those guys, and just where that competition kind of stands about midway point through spring practice?
Well, I think we're just getting started. There's 4 guys that play on the D-line that are not here this spring. Savion Williams, Darrell Middleton, Elijah Simmons, Carrot Garland. Okay, 4 guys that hadn't participated this spring. 3 of them are not here. Carrot has not had a chance to participate in spring. He'll be back ready to go here probably in a couple of weeks. So, we're just getting started with competition up there. So these guys are, we've got to improve every day. We do have depth a little bit at that position, and so it is competitive, and it needs to be. So that's a good thing. I think competition makes you better, and we need to improve at that position, and we have improved. We have a lot of guys that are trying to do it the right way. So the more opportunities that they get a chance to go out there and compete, they'll continue to improve, and they have so far.
Coach, you referenced the competition. You referenced kind of the difference between last year and this year. A year ago, you talked about other players holding other players are accountable. Do you see that more in practice, where some of the veterans are starting to show more leadership and kind of, bringing the team together and being more of a player-led thing?
Well, I think that, we're headed in that direction. When you get committed to something and you believe in something, and let me tell you, our senior class, and we have a small class, a small senior class, but I think it's a good class. Marquez Callaway, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Johnson, Tyler Bird, Don Woods Anderson, Nigel Warrior, Emmett Gooden, Darryl Taylor, Daniel Batuli, Balin Buchanan, Riley Lovingood. All right, that's it. That's the guys. Carlin Film Zane. So, it's a small group, but I think it's a group that has put a lot into the University of Tennessee. I think they've represented the University of Tennessee very well. They're guys that will graduate from here. I think they're hungry. They've worked really hard in the last 18 months, and they've continued to do that. So I know these guys are excited about every opportunity that they have to go practice, and you can see it in the way they practice and the way they prepare.
Jeremy, wanted to ask you about a couple specific players. Jeremy Banks, what kind of spring has it been for him, settling in at running back? And then Dominic Wood Anderson, kind of having that first full year in the program. Has he taken much of a step forward so far?
Well, I think Jeremy Banks is a really good competitor. He loves to play in the games. He loves to play in the competitive atmosphere, but there's a lot that goes into the preparation to get ready for the games, and he's still learning how to do that. He's one of the most physical players on our team. So that's a good thing. If you're going to be a good football player, you better have toughness, and Jeremy has toughness. He's got to continue to work on ball security. He's got to work on protections in the throw game. But he's working hard to do that. He's been very conscientious of trying to improve as a player. So I have seen lots of improvement from him.
Jeremy, you were talking about Banks and the ball security. When you evaluated all that, was it just extra effort stuff? Was it technique stuff? Was it mental stuff? What were some of the issues there, and do you feel like they've been addressed or they're being addressed?
From a ball security? I think probably a little bit of all of it, So it's first and goal at the 3 and you gain 2 yards and 35 inches and you try to stick the ball out to gain that other inch, we still got 3 more downs, right? And we fumble the ball in the end zone. That's a guy that's competitive. He's trying to score. He's trying to win the game, but you got to know when and when not to, right? We got 3 more downs. I think ball security's lots of it's repetition, fundamentally doing it the right way, and he's worked hard doing that. It's awareness, where you're at in the pile, who's coming to attack you. So he's working hard to do that, and I think Jim has done a nice job with our offense about focusing on securing the football. So we've got to continue to do that.
Last 2, Patrick, Steve.
Looks like Eric Gray has been out there the last couple of practices that we've been to. How much is he doing, and is it good to get him at least a little bit of a look at him before the end of spring?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Eric. He had to have his shoulder fixed, but it's a good thing we found out about it. He got it fixed in January, and he'll be ready to go in May. So this guy's a really good student, doing a nice job academically. He really has worked hard in there, kind of off the field, I guess, film room per se, learning assignments. We've almost had to hold him back a little bit, but he's got plenty of football ahead of him, and I know he's chomping at the bit to get involved. But I think being here, learning how college life is, getting kind of used to the everyday grind, I think is going to benefit him this summer and this fall, and give him an opportunity to compete and to play.
Last question, Steve.
Just Darryl Taylor, what have you seen from him this spring and just this off season, and what more does he need to do to become more of a consistent producer for you?
Well, I think Darryl's working hard to improve his technique, fundamentals. He's I've always thought he's had a good motor, but when you talk about situational football and having a really good understanding, kind of eliminating some of the plays that you're not going to get, you can do that sometimes. I think he's coming a little more wary of those situations, and which can help his play and improve his play. And he's working on consistency, and I think he's had special last couple of days have been really good. So he's got to continue to work just like everybody on our football team.